once again. She was down to the last part of the design. I didn't think it would take that much longer, but it still irked me to have Micah here. The whole point of doing this in my home during the day was to immerse myself in the pain without any distractions. I didn't want him here ruining it. This was my chance to do something for me, just me, that didn't have to involve anyone else. Of course, the tattoo artist didn't count. The Nephilim cocked his head as he examined the design more closely. "I hadn't considered you a snake and chains kind of girl." Great. Now we were going to have to talk about it. The conversation was inevitable, but I'd hoped to keep the tattoo to myself for a while. It fits what I wanted. He couldn't see all of it, but he could see enough. The snake's tail was under my right thigh. The body consisted of a series of silver chain links interlocked tightly together. It coiled around my upper leg in a loop before moving to my hip, across my back, and around to my stomach. The head and last portion to be finished was a couple of inches below my belly button. Its jaws were wide open, with sharp fangs protruding. The tattoo artist had done a good job of making it look intimidating. Micah leaned a little closer. "Is that chain what I think it is?" He wasn't going to leave it alone. He always had to know what I was up to and the reasons behind it. I wished I had a frying pan to bash into his head. Yup, it is. There was no denying it. I'd never seen the chain in person like Micah had, but I'd seen enough of it in my nightmares to be familiar with the design. The one on my body was meant to replicate the one Lucas wore in Purgatory, except for some creative license to make it work with the snake's body. I'd managed to get Corey to match the color exactly, though. Micah's brows furrowed. "Why?" I adjusted the sheet covering the lower portion of me. It hid my most intimate parts, but I had to leave a lot exposed for the tattoo artist to work. At least my sports bra covered my breasts well enough. No one ever showed up at my home mid-morning during the weekdays, so I hadn't been too concerned with my modesty. "I have to find a way to take control of my problems," I said, ignoring Micah's twitching lips. My subtle moving of the sheet had apparently not been subtle enough. He wasn't looking at me in a sexual way. I was mated to his twin brother, and he respected that. But it amused him when I got embarrassed over my nudity. The first time we met, I'd been naked and attacked him. Needless to say, he'd seen everything. And we'd gotten off to a bad start. I glared at him until he lost the twinkle in his eyes. Everything else I've tried hasn't been enough. I rested my head back on the table. The chain isn't just something that can bind an immortal strength. It's also a symbol of what holds your brother hostage and keeps him from us. This is a way to own it, to make it mine. That's what I'm doing with the tattoo. There was actually more to it, but I wouldn't voice the other reasons out loud. A group of men from my race, censors, wanted to use me as a tool for breeding more of our kind. There weren't many of us left, and they believed it was their job to increase the population. They'd threatened to rape me if I didn't cooperate, but I'd managed to escape before they could act on the threat. The snake would serve as a warning to anyone stupid enough to ever try it again. Micah pulled out a dining room chair and sat down. "I'll be interested to hear what my brother thinks of this." "I'll explain it to him. Don't worry about that." I waved a hand. Lucas could be a pain in the ass, but he could be reasonable too. I had to believe he'd understand the tattoo once I explained it to him. I refused to feel bad about it regardless of what he thought. It was my body and my decision what I did with it. "If he's worth a damn," Corey said, pausing to dab some blood from the spot where she was working, "he won't care what you put on your skin and will love you anyway." Micah's eyes glowed. "I could snap your neck, little human." The tattoo gun froze an inch above my skin. Corey's eyes shifted between me and the Nephilim. It wasn't her fault she didn't know the story behind Lucas. She just had a habit of speaking her mind. I grabbed Micah's arm. "Stop it. You know she's right." His golden eyes bored into me, but I didn't flinch. Eventually, he let his anger go and his shoulders relaxed. I let my hand drop, releasing the breath I'd been holding. Something was up with him. Micah would